What are you gonna do? Knock my block off? Pow! I fucking love that scene. It's easily, hands down, one of the best scenes from Killer Klowns from Outer Space. Funny as shit, and it just so happens that this is a reason for us longtime fans of that movie, all 80s and 90s kids can go and just fucking cheer to the rafters. This is something that I never expected. It's a Killer Klowns from Outer Space video game in its most official capacity possible, because this is being made in conjunction with the Kyoto brothers, who created Killer Klowns from Outer Space. They're working on this as producers. They even have the composer from the movie working on the music for this. I'm just like, that's some overly official shit, and you can actually see that they're taking proper care with this game. Just judging by everything that we got to see from the trailer and some excerpts that I've seen and read from various different interviews, dude, this made me so fucking happy, because this is unexpected. Like, look, it's a known fact that we are getting a shit ton of licensed horror movie franchise games that are just being tossed onto store shelves, and this is not one of the ones that anybody could have ever thought, oh yeah, they'll definitely make a game based off that. Fuck no, nobody saw that shit coming. But it is interesting to note that this game, despite the big cult following that it has had for several decades, I mean, we have not only this game coming out, not only shit tons of merchandise on store shelves, not only tons of people who keep on reminiscing and rewatching this year after year during spooky season, but even Universal Studios has a fucking Killer Klowns from Outer Space maze haunted house deal that you can go and walk through, and I have to say, that's the kind of shit where I'm just like, man, I kind of want to go. I've never been there before, so that would be kind of badass as shit to go and visit it. Like, I've looked at footage of it, which, it looks cool. Like, I love haunted houses, but anyway, I'm getting very far off track. I should be talking about this game. It's just, I'm very happy. You have to understand, like, this movie means a lot to me. I watched this a lot with my family, like, with my brother, my sister, my mom. Like, loved this movie a whole bunch, just because it's like a dark comedy. It's like whimsical yet really macabre, just meshed together, and I enjoy that kind of shit. But this is going to be a 3v7 shooter, and if anybody out there who's already played Dead by Daylight, or if you played the likes of Friday the 13th, the video game, or the Evil Dead video game, you already know what to expect. And that is exactly the formula that they're deciding to go with on Killer Klowns from Outer Space, the video game. Long-ass title, yes I know, and I'm going to try my best not to keep on repeating it over and over again ad nauseum, but still. So, as far as I can see right now, you can either control, obviously, the clowns or the humans. Though, I don't know if you're going to be able to play as any of the actual named characters from the movie. I didn't see anything like that. It was just kind of generic human beings running around and shit, which admittedly made me kind of sad, because there are certain characters from it I'd really like to see inside of this game, but what the fuck can you do? Like, I realize that that's going to cost them a whole lot more money, and this really comes off as like a big-time passion project. And I have no idea if the fan base out there who is big into this movie will know about this shit or even have interest in it, but I mean, for fuck's sake, you should support a project like this. Like, it genuinely looks so fucking cool. The trailer, like, one, it's still set in the 80s. That makes a lot of sense, because to me, if you didn't have it in the 80s, you fucked up. You fucked up bad. We're alone, and who knows how many other different parts of the game are going to repeat scenes from the movies that we all know and love. But this was something I thought was cool. Just the dude opening up the door and seeing all the clowns there holding the pizza boxes and shit, and him getting shot up with their gun. And then you had him outside the big top going and trying to lure people away. Just, I thought that that was really cool. It's attention to detail like that. Whenever you're doing anything with a licensed property, you should take proper care with it. And it looks like they're doing exactly that. I mean, shit. This is a movie that, despite the fact that it wasn't one of the most mainstream flicks out there, the actual practical effects and the special effects that were involved in the making of this, to me, still hold up very well. Like, the actual suits and the makeup and shit that they put onto all the actors who were portraying the clowns, I love that so much. Like, they just looked fantastic. And seeing that recreated in a digital age, now that we're not doing shit with just pixels, you can actually have them running around looking exactly like the characters that we all know and love from the 80s. That's just... I genuinely was happy as shit to go and see that, and they had everything down. I was just like, that's fucking awesome. And from everything that I've been able to tell, it's going to be not just like the clowns going around and scooping people up and shit and trying to go and take them away in the cotton candy cocoons, but the humans will be able to go and create their own kind of weapons. They're either trying to go and escape, trying to go and take the clowns down, or they're trying to go and stop the actual invasion and deactivate all the shit with the big top. That, I think, sounds a lot of fun. I'm just hoping that we get a little bit more in terms of modes. Like, to me, I mean, I actually wish that there was a single-player mode. And I know that this is going to be one of the things like, oh man, you're raining on the parade, but I just personally think that a single-player story mode would have done wonders for a game like this, just so that it wouldn't be viewed as something entering an already relatively saturated market that will live and die by its active player base. And that's the unfortunate truth of the matter. Like, you don't want to see shit like this get delisted whenever you see how much love and how much attention and how much dedication was poured into it. Like, I want to see this kind of shit just blow up. And I know that they had talked for, God, it was at least like a decade now, that they've been talking about trying to do a sequel. And there has been likes of an actual television series that's been tossed around, and the sequels, more than one, have been tossed around. I'm just like, if you have many of these ideas that are kind of just sitting on the cutting room floor, if you try to apply them into a single-player story campaign, or even all the shit that never made it into the final cut of the movie, because you can look up all the extended footage, all the deleted scenes online, if you have anything like the DVD and Blu-ray and shit. Like, obviously you're well aware of this stuff existing, but if you took some of that and tried to toss it into this game, I think that people would really appreciate some shit like that, and it would give more longevity to this game. So again, it wouldn't just be something that is defined strictly by, alright, is there anybody online playing? No, well, I can't do diddly dick with this fucking game. And that's something that I don't want to go and see happen. Like, I really fucking don't. And that aside, though, back to talking about the actual game itself, if you look at the footage for it, just seeing the entire town recreated and some of the different areas that they've had, I'm just like, that looks so fucking cool. Like, it does. I just keep imagining, like, one of the clowns throwing an acid pie and it hitting somebody in the face and it just melts right the fuck off. I'm just like, please do this shit. Give me a popcorn bazooka and let me go and just start firing. Give me the shadow puppets so I can just go and take out a whole bunch of them. Like, make that into one of your bigger supers that you can go and just got the shadow puppet. It just takes them all out. It just... like, where's my Okage? Okay, Okage is Shadow King? Right there. Just, Stan would approve of this kind of shit, I'm just saying. But I get the name drop and reference all sorts of shit. But I mean, it's not even just this. We had the Evil Dead video game come out, we've got this. We have a Texas Chainsaw Massacre game coming out. The last one was, what, on fucking Atari? The only one, I'm pretty sure, is on Atari. Which, by the way, if you've never watched the AVGN Halloween special that included that, you should. It's good. But I am. Like, I'm legitimately excited for this, and again, while reading some of the interviews, the Kyoto Brothers just, they sounded so fucking happy about this. Like, they were genuinely ecstatic because they said, you know, we're working with people that genuinely respect and love and admire and into this. I'm just like, that's the kind of shit that you want. You don't want to just take like an IP, how so many movie IPs and television IPs and cartoons, etc., 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 how many of them were adapted into video games without any care, because they were just trying to capitalize off the movie either being in theaters or getting a home release on DVD, VHS, Blu-ray, Laserdisc, and whatever the fuck else that was around at the time whenever it came out. So it was just a rush project off to whatever fucking studio was willing to go and do it, and it was just bang, bang, boom, you're done, that's it. I hate the idea of shit like that, like I do. It bugs me to no fucking end, because I'm just like, dude, you don't really need to do it that way. Just take proper care. When you have these ones that come out way later on, well past the movie ever existing, like The Warriors, for example, when Rockstar went and picked that up, and they decided, we're just going to make a beat-em-up based off The Warriors. One, nobody saw that shit coming, just like with this, and it was fucking incredible. And when you have the director of Friday the 13th, the video game, working on it, if you played that, if you got to see the development history of it, again, that was something that they cared so much about. I mean, shit, they had Tom Savini going and working on it. Obviously, one of the most iconic and important figures whenever it comes to the history and the legacy of that movie franchise. I mean, horror in general. But still, knowing that it's going to be in that kind of hands, just seeing that kind of footage and shit, just knowing that they've got people who love this, to me, that says, okay, cool. This will actually be taken proper care of. Good shit. And it's... They'd said some stuff about, like, the maps will be ever-changing, and they're going to be extremely expansive, they're going to be randomly generated, so that means that you're going to want to keep on coming back to this game over and over again to see some of the updates and shit. They already said that they had a bunch of stuff planned as soon as the game rolls out, and considering that it's an online multiplayer-focused game, you obviously have to have a lot of shit in the pipeline for weeks, months, and potentially even years, depending on the success of the game, because you need to get motherfuckers not only invested into this game, but to get them to continuously keep coming back for match after match after match. And I'm curious about, like, what other match types are you going to do? What kind of modes are you going to offer? And this is a property that's only got the one movie, and that's it. So you either have to create a lot of new shit, or hope that this is going to generate so much fucking buzz that they can actually get those projects for the sequels or the TV shows greenlit. That project can get off the ground, and then they can incorporate that into this game, or even do a follow-up to it with all the sequel shit in tow, and go from there. I mean, I'm surprised that there isn't things like a bunch of graphic novels out there. I was always surprised that there wasn't a cartoon series based off Killer Klowns from Outer Space, because to me, it just seemed kind of perfect for some shit like that. I'm just like, it makes a lot of sense. It really does. So once this was showed off at Gamescom, they had said that not only is this going to be coming out early in 2023, and my wallet can't fucking handle how many games are coming out next year. I just want to go and reiterate that because it is fucking painful. Seriously, how many games are coming out in 2023? But they said that this is going to be on PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox One, Series X, and it's going to be on PC. And I was just like, good shit all around. I'm glad that they're covering all their bases. I'm just hoping that there's lots of cross-platforms so we can get everybody together on this shit. Because the minute that you start segmenting and keeping everybody away from one another depending on what preferred platform they decide to go and scoop that shit up on, you're going to make this so much more difficult for people to actually decide, yep, I'm going to dedicate lots of time to this week in and week out. I don't want to see that. I want to see this succeed. I really do, because I love the movie. The fact that we're getting so much love for this, I mean, fuck, Spirit Halloweens are already popping up all over the place, so you're naturally going to see lots more Killer Clown shit showing up there, and I like that it's just one cohesive thing that's just kind of feeding one another. So this is cool as fuck. It makes me happy, again, as a long-time horror movie fan that has watched this movie since I was a kid. Like, I was only a couple years old when it came out, but goddamn was it fucking cool as shit. Loved it a lot. I'm just smiles for miles. I have to go, and I had to talk this up. So I'll go and conclude this video. As always, nerds, nerdettes, and gamers, game the fuck on. Oh, by the way, hit the bell and activate all notifications, Because for whatever reason, YouTube isn't notifying people of the videos. I keep forgetting to tell people that. You know, it's... leave comments down below. Like the video, please. Nobody's really going to do that, but it's still worth stating. Yeah, YouTube.